this is Gilgamesh. I started streaming earlier, but I had to stop because my people above me were being loud, so I stopped. So I want to start over. Okay, this is Christmas Eve. Yeah. And tomorrow's, the Catholic Church created December the 25th to celebrate Jesus Christ's birthday, even though he wasn't born in December because the Jews had Hanukkah. Not a joke, that's actually true. Jesus wasn't a white guy, he wasn't black or, Latino, he was a Syrian Jew. Just like Moses, just like Muhammad. Enough said. Okay. So, Star Wars. I talked about this before, but I'm going to go back over it. How does Disney own Lucasfilms? Well, you have to go back. George Lucas. I'll go back to Lucas's childhood. When he was a little boy. See, back then, when George Lucas was a little boy, they didn't have TV, so they had radio. And then on the weekends, he would go to the movie theater and watch serials like Flash Gordon. This is what inspired what came later. To the point that when in the early 70s, he went to Dino De Laurentiis and asked if he could make Flash Gordon. Dino turned him down. So he took the idea of Flash Gordon, and this is where Star Wars comes in. He also saw The Hidden Fortress, loved it so much he took the two characters who were comedy relief and made them R2-D2 and C-3PO. Now, if you look at the characters, the main cast, the main characters, you have Luke Skywalker, you have Flash Gordon. They're essentially the same. Blonde hair, blue eyes. You have Leia, and you have Erin, I think was her name. The one that comes with Flash Gordon. Okay. The old doctor is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Yeah. Now, Timothy Dalton, who was James Bond, is literally Han Solo. And the head of I kind of look at it this way, the leader of the Hawkmen, yes, this is a DC comic. Ironically, you could say it's Chewbacca. Yeah, because Chewbacca was comedy relief. Then you get the guy in the mask with the ring, that's Vader, and Ming is Emperor Palpatine. There you go. So that's where Star Wars comes out of. A 12-year-old boy's imagination. That's what Star Wars was always for. 12-year-old boys. George Lucas has said this over and over. So when he's doing the first movie, which he funded himself, the ideas ran through his head. In the original trilogy were great. And what did he do? In Empire Return, he brought in Lawrence Kasdan, who helped him flesh out the script. His wife at the time literally edited all the original trilogy. I think she won an Oscar for it. And he hired the two directors to direct Empire Return the Jedi. And you can see Leia's a feminist character. She's bossy, controlling. She talks down to Han in Empire till the very end. And she tells all of them, get in the trash compactor. And they almost die. So when we get to Return of the Jedi, which originally was titled Revenge of the Jedi, but as Lucas said, Jedi don't go for revenge, so he changed the title. Leia's not confident. She's lost, because of what's happened, Han getting frozen carbonite. She's become unsure of herself, doubting herself. So Luke sits her down and starts talking, and she knows that he has to go confront Vader, Anakin Skywalker. He has to go, and he goes, "What do you remember about your mother?" And she says she was crying. She remembers her crying. She is not talking about her adopted mother. She's talking about her mother, the one that gave birth to them. And then when she brings up that they're brother and sister, she goes, "I kind of always knew that Vader was their father, was her father." She says that. And yeah. And this goes into when he trains her to be a Jedi, that he, so her confidence is back. And so, with all that, he confronts Vader. So, yeah. And so in the prequels, what a lot of people didn't understand was what George was trying to tell. The absolute downfall of Anakin Skywalker. from a little boy who was hope and everything, and he was a product of the Force to bring balance to the Force, as Qui-Gon Jinn figured out. He had no father. He had a highest midichlorian count they ever heard of, which means every living thing has this bacteria. The more higher the count means the more, connection to the Force you have. And the Force flows through everything. Inanimate objects like this microphone, through living things, everything's connected, as Obi-Wan said to Luke Skywalker. So, the Jedi thought they could control the Force through fear. Palpatine through control. Yes. And Palpatine and Plagueis for the reason Anakin was created by the Force. As Qui-Gon Jinn asked, who's his father? He has no father. There was a bright light. Literally, he's a metaphor for Jesus. Let's get over it. Yes, Anakin Skywalker is a metaphor for Jesus Christ. Immaculate conception, everyone. The Force created Anakin to bring balance, which means the Jedi thinking they became politicians, corrupted. So as Star Wars theory says, and George has said, to bring balance, you have to tear down the system. The Jedi had to fall. People didn't like this. Seeing the Jedi, go back 1,000 years, the Jedi literally thought they wiped the Sith out. So when they see Darth Maul, they didn't know the Sith. Even Yoda didn't realize Sith had returned, because he was there when they thought they had wiped them out through the same thing, a kind of Order 66. They thought they had exterminated the Sith, not realizing they were still here. And this is what people didn't like. Oh, Jar Jar Binks, he's not the problem. He was literally a teenager sent out on a walkabout. Think about that. Aborigines send their boys out to become men. So that's what happened with Jar Jar. He was kicked out because he had the mentality of a teenager. By the time he comes back, they think he's mature enough. They call him General. Yeah, they give him the title General. And they take on, And in the end, by the third film, you didn't even know he was in the movie, people. Stop comparing him to Abrams. Fuck Abrams. Yeah. Jar Jar Binks acts up in the Attack of the Clones when he sees Anakin. It's like anybody who hasn't seen somebody in a long time. He starts being goofy, and then Anakin shuts it down and says, "Nice to see you too." And he immediately reverts back to being an adult, realizing, okay, I've been acting. Yeah. Anakin shuts it down real quick. I don't get the hate for Jake Lloyd. Death threats. His family were sent death threats. We're going to kill you. We're going to find you and murder you. That actually happened. The FBI got involved. And then they sent Armin Best, who said the only problem he had with the character was the way his voice sounded when he was speaking as Jar Jar Binks. He loved playing the character. The guy's a musician. I think he's also a singer. I looked him up. But, yeah, he played it the way George Lucas wanted him. Goofy till he becomes an adult. But the person the most they give a pass to in these is Natalie Portman. She's a terrible actress. She can't act worth anything. But for these movies, it works. Her terrible acting played well into her overacting, played well into what Star Wars is. It's not supposed to be taken serious. It's meant to be goofy and stupid. We're talking cowboys and wizards. That's what the Jedi are. They're wizards. This is what little boys did. They used to play cowboys and Indians, knights and wizards and all that. That's essentially what this stuff is. It's a Western. Yeah. Girls didn't watch this until most girls weren't into Star Wars till they got to Return of the Jedi, where they saw the Ewoks and went, ah, and they clapped and went crazy for little teddy bears. Yeah. But the prequels were all about a tragedy of Anakin's fall by the hands of the Jedi, who, after Qui-Gon Jinn's death, and Obi-Wan didn't train Anakin, he didn't even try to. He pretty much, the idea that he just pretty much gave up on Anakin. So when Anakin thinks through control, he is going to save the Republic, no. He doesn't realize he can't save the Republic. It has to fall. That's why Obi-Wan says, I failed you. He knows he failed Anakin. He failed to help him when it came to his mother. He failed outright. He didn't give a shit. They feared Anakin's power. So when he becomes Vader is when he tells Mace Windu, I need him to live. Mace Windu says he has to die. So what does Anakin do? He cuts his hand off, getting him killed by Palpatine. And then he realizes he screwed up. He's trapped. He can't. He becomes Vader. And then what does he do? He destroys the Jedi Temple, signaling the absolute downfall of the Jedi. This is what people didn't understand. He's showing the only way to be balanced is to tear it apart. This is what Yoda understands later on in life, is the mistake he made was the Jedi didn't. They thought they could control the Force. You can't control it. The Force showed you couldn't. They played politicians. They forgot just to, how to, live one with the Force. As Obi-Wan said to Luke, everything, Force flows through everything. And, they didn't understand this stuff. These people that hated the prequels, they still don't get it. So, 2005, it comes out, Revenge of the Sith. My second favorite Star Wars film. Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith are the best two Star Wars films ever. I didn't care for when Disney bought it. I knew right away. See, all these people, and George Lucas, 7 years later, announces he's ready to do a new trilogy. Did anybody notice how old he was? He said it takes 10 years for him to complete one trilogy. That's a lot. Plus, he wanted to spend time with his daughter. So, what I got from this interview he gave, and most of the fandom menace, I'm going to call them that, the people that hated the prequels, didn't hear that. They heard, oh my God, he's going to make a new trilogy. Oh, he's worse than Hitler. They went on Twitter, went on a rampage against George Lucas. They raged against him. They didn't hear what George Lucas said. I want to spend more time, so I think he was thinking of directing the first one and then hiring two directors like he did with the original trilogy, sit down with Lawrence Kasdan, flush out the script, and it was going to be the Leia trilogy. Oh, that's why Harrison Ford was excited. That's why Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, they were all excited to come back. And then the worst nightmare happened. The death of Star Wars. Lucasfilms. And the people, just like what Padme said, so this is how the Republican dies, in loud applause. I said it the moment he announced, he made the suggestion of selling it. He first went to Paramount. Paramount lowballed him, and then his wife said, go to Disney. Sell it to Disney. So he did. And he then says, I'm thinking of doing it because they can make a theme park. The fans, all the people, haters went, yes. And then when it was made official, they clapped like little spastic idiots and went, yes, Disney now owns it. I knew right away that was the death of Lucasfilms. Because I knew exactly what Disney would do. They would destroy it. And they showed the footage of Bob. And Bob Iger was never going to do his treatments because you hated the prequels. For all the people that hated George Lucas prequels, why would Bob Iger want to touch anything George Lucas did? And he didn't listen to, Bob Iger didn't listen to George Lucas. Said when he made Catherine Kennedy the president, he made her in charge of everything. Instead of leaving things the status quo, she got total control, and her decision to destroy George Lucas's legacy began. The destruction of the expanded universe. You got what you asked for. For all the fandomists who complain to this day about the new stuff that Disney did, oh, they'll give excuses to Rogue One, oh, because of Vader. I hate Disney. Don't get me wrong. I hate everything this company does because I know exactly shit they aren't making anything. They are terrible. I knew right away. And I've come to actually appreciate the Crystal Skulls. The last movie George Lucas and Spielberg did together. I actually kind of find it funny that George Lucas tried to make it serious. And instead of making it just a comedy like he did with everything else, the idea of this is for kids, 12-year-old boys, he tried to be too serious, and that's what hurt the movie. But it is actually entertaining. Yes. Yeah, very entertaining to watch, because you can laugh at it. And Catherine Kennedy's done everything to destroy George Lucas's legacy, the point that he doesn't care. So when he sold it, that was his revenge on all the people that hated the prequels. And he's made it very clear he will not be coming back. So he recently came out and said, this is Disney's. I have nothing to do with it. And people are trying to act like he could get it back. No, he outright sold the company to Disney. He still lives at Skywalker Ranch. That home is still his. The rest of it is owned by Disney and ILM and everything. Yeah. But here's the thing. He has no power to take the company back. He doesn't intend to buy it back. He doesn't intend to take it back. He wants nothing to do with this. You have made the man not want anything to do that. His new museum is only going to have one mention of Star Wars, and it's a prequel ship. That's it. You people made him not even want to give a shit about Star Wars. He made it very clear, I'm not coming back. I'm done with this stuff. You guys pushed him out. He got exactly what you asked for. You didn't want the man to own it. Star Wars is dead. It's never going to get better. And no, Catherine Kennedy didn't. You helped Disney destroy it, just like everything else. When they bought 20th Century Fox, look at what they've done to every IP they get their hands on. They destroy it. But I will say one thing. Now, I'm going to go to Hulu. Yes, Hulu's now going to eventually, by next year, completely be incorporated because Disney is paying off Comcast. Most people don't know this, they're paying Comcast off so that they outright own Hulu. And then they're going to incorporate it all into Disney Plus, which means the app is going to go away. Which means that's going to save money on Disney end to not have this, yeah. But I will say one thing I like about Hulu is I do like the way it's laid out. And it's kind of more actually better than Netflix, the way that they lay it out. Kind of like Amazon Prime is actually better. The layout of it is much better than Netflix's layout. But here's one thing. Hulu's Hellraiser. I've read The Hellbound Heart, the book Clive Barker based Hellraiser on. He always said he wanted to, if he had a chance, to redo the Cenobites and the Hell Priest, which in the book, if you ever read the book, take a man and a woman, put them together, and make it look more like a woman. You got the Hell Priest. Yeah. He literally described the Hell Priest as being a mixture of male and female, but being more feminine. So when it came to redoing it, he sat down with David Bruckner, and they redesigned the Cenobites to be more aligned with the book. In the book, they don't wear clothing. They wear their skins mutilated. So it looks, yeah. So they're pretty much naked in the story. Yeah. And the Hell Priest, well, Doug Bradley, who, because he was friends with Clive Barker, played Pinhead. I think he came up with the name when he was sitting in the chair and they were making him up. He thought he looked like a pin cushion with all the pins in his head and everything. He played it different, more loud, robust, and like Jamie Clayton, who they hired. I don't know much about Jamie Clayton. She was ecstatic to play the character. She plays it different, and it actually works. It's not a woke movie. It's actually a well-constructed story where you see what traditionally what Clive Barker always wanted the Hell Priest to look like. Taking nothing away from Doug Bradley. He even, I think, went on the set and met Jamie Clayton and said, wow, he was impressed. And she does play the character different than, he isn't loud or, says, we will tear your soul apart. And Jamie Clayton learned to deepen her voice. Like I said, I've heard she's a transgender. I don't know if she is. Doesn't bother me. I don't care about people being transgender. I don't give a shit. It's kind of like Hunter Schafer. I saw Cuckoo. I loved her character, and I knew she wasn't real. When you look carefully and you hear her say that she was born a boy, I kind of noticed that with the hips. Yeah. But, other than that, I had no problem with Hunter Schafer. And Cuckoo, I think, good actor, I mean. But yeah. But Jamie Clayton did a great job playing Pinhead. They call it the Hell Priest, but the way Jamie Clayton played the Hell Priest was more subtle than Doug Bradley. And I thought that when one scene in the movie, and they changed the Lamont configuration. They made it change, and it's different than in the original Hellraiser, where it isn't the person who opens the box, it's when you get cut. You get drugged, and then you're taken to hell. And the thing is that the Cenobites will only go after the person who's been cut by the box. So there's a point where, she has to give the Hell Priest pick two people to sacrifice to get the prize, which was she wanted to bring her brother back. So she gets clever and does one thing in the movie I wasn't expecting, and neither did the hell priest. She opened the box, brought the thing out, and cut the new chatterer, which didn't look like the chatterer. And got torn apart. And Jamie Clayton's look on her face as Pinhead was like, acknowledging that was smart. See, yeah, people should see it. It's really good. Get the book and read it. It's way different. Now, let's talk about Hollywood. People forget how progressive and liberal Hollywood's always been. Let's go back. I was born in 71. I grew up with Monty Python, Benny Hill, Twilight Zone, the Doctor Who, Tom Baker, Doctor Who. I always thought John Pertwee was a better doctor overall. I liked his doctor more. I liked Tom Baker, but I always liked John Pertwee. That's Sean Pertwee's father. I always thought he was a better doctor. Yeah. And John Pertwee was the third doctor, and Tom Baker was the fourth, the longest running doctor of all time. Yeah, and like I said, nothing there. But let's look at things. Okay, Sesame Street. I watched it as a kid. Do you know that show was when people talk about diversity? Jim Henson created a show so naturally diverse, nobody realized it was diverse. You had all these different characters and no forced diversity. This is how, when people say we want diversity, the Sesame Street was a truly diverse cast. They've talked about how proud they are of how diverse the show really was, and it was, but it didn't shove it in your face. That's how Jim Henson did. That's the genius of Jim Henson. Then we get to the Muppets. Okay, Miss Piggy, feminist character through and through. She would beat men up, slap them. She basically beat the shit out of Kermit, and he still simped for that. Yes, Kermit the Frog simped. You wouldn't think about it. He stayed with Miss Piggy even when she beat him up. He was afraid of her, but he didn't leave. He didn't run away. Yeah, he kind of tolerated her abuse like a good simp. Now, then, Monty Python, they even took on the whole, look at the Monty Python themselves, the cast. When they played women, they did high-pitched voices to make fun of feminism. Yeah, literally, they were making fun of feminism. And if you look at The Life of Brian, there's a scene where Eric Idle, as one of the Jewish people, says, I identify as a woman. And they're like, what? You're not a woman. He goes, I want to have a baby. And then they're literally discussing the idea of a man having a baby. And it's so funny that they're making fun of this stuff before now. And it still holds up. Married with Children made fun of feminism by having Marcy be an outright feminist. And, yeah. Then you get two movies done by the same director who is, in fact, a male feminist, James Cameron. Terminator. Loved the fuck out of it. Terminator 2 is feminist dog shit on all levels. I'll explain. In the first movie, Sarah Connor is she's a waitress, a normal woman who has to become strong by the end to survive the Terminator. Okay, that makes sense. But in Terminator 2, she's suddenly the most badass feminist woman on the planet. Whammon. Why? She can beat up every guy in a fucking... Have you seen Linda Hamilton's arms? They're not very muscular. Yeah, I'm supposed to believe she can beat up every guy in that place. And she gives out the feminist playbook when she's about to kill Miles Dyson, his wife and son. Men are bad. They only know how to destroy. They don't know how to create. That's straight up from the feminist playbook of men are bad. Everything would be better if women were running things. And you idiots ate that shit up. Then he made a generic shooter called Aliens. And I love Alien. It's a sci-fi slasher film about a parasitic creature who stalks and murders an entire crew except for Ripley. Ripley knew smart enough, don't bring that on the ship, we're all fucked. And they didn't listen to her. Then you get Aliens. Okay, the ideas of the Space Marines came from Robert Heinlein's Starship Troopers, a book, a critique about the invasion of Russia by Nazi Germany. Yes, because in the book, the humans are the Nazis and the bugs are the Russians. Yes. And so he's mocking, feminism and everything and all that stuff in his book. But in James Cameron's shithole brain, he takes everything that made Alien great and fucks it in the ass. One, he gives them the stupidest name called xenomorphs. He also changed them from a parasite to insects, where they have a queen. But the biggest fuck up is he makes the men absolute shit. As the movie goes on, they whine and complain, they fall apart. And only Ellen Ripley can save the fucking day. You didn't even realize this. Okay, a woman if you ever met anybody with PTSD, they don't get over it. She has PTSD, she's having a screaming fit that she's got one of these things inside of her. And she wakes up screaming. Then she finds out her daughter's dead. And miraculously, she decides she wants to go back to hell. Without hesitation, she goes, okay, and goes back and then reminds them one of these things could wipe out all life on Earth, which is true because they were originally a parasite, not an insect. So yeah. So we have these tough guys. Hudson gives out this great speech. You have one female Marine. And then as things progress, we have they start complaining. Hudson falls apart. It's over, man. Yeah, the black guy, what do we say through harsh language? Hicks has a shotgun, and he shoots it when they're in the elevator, and it hits it, and and they get the thing off, and he lives. Some reason suddenly he has trouble walking, and I don't remember him getting scratched. I'd have to watch it again. He suddenly is like this, and he's unable to do anything. The men completely get wiped out. The one female dies. Ellen Ripley to the rescue with her literally. I love Sigourney Weaver, but dear God, that woman didn't have one muscle. She showed no muscle, and yet she's somehow able to take on a space cockroach, I'm going to call it that, queen that's a 10-ton, and also have a 10-ton, lift. Yeah, that machine that she rides that says, get away from her, you bitch. What, isn't that 10 tons of metal and everything? And the space cockroach queen is 10 tons. So she has 20 tons on her as she's being sucked. And yet somehow her arm doesn't break and she doesn't fall into space and get killed. Come on, people. And fuck Newt, she's an obnoxious kid that basically shows, shoot that kid in the head. David Fincher killed her off. Yeah. And he was fucked over by 20th Century Fox. That's why he quit Alien 3. But, yeah. And people went, yes! Oh, we love feminism. Now you hate it. And you talk about all this shit about, oh my God, look at this woke shit in Hollywood. Look what they're doing. But you were fine with it when it was things you said were good. Aliens, Terminator 2. You didn't even realize it. Then there was Priscilla Queen of the Desert. About 3 drag queens, one of them a transgender character played by Terrence Stamp, and 2 gay guys. Oh, and by the end of the film, the father ends up having his son come stay with him and hanging out with other gay drag queens. Nobody screamed at that shit. Yes, oh my God, a gay father. This kid's gonna be corrupted. No one gave a fuck when that movie came out. I love the movie. Didn't have a problem, did you? Oh, when did you have a problem with a gay father? See, Hollywood's always been leftist. It's never been conservative. But you never had a problem until recently. Yeah. These are things I noticed about Hollywood. That, yeah. And and finally, Married with Children was talking about feminism, and people laughed at it. Monty Python dealt with feminism by making fun of feminists. By having the guys dress up as women and talking high-pitched voices. Fucking funny as shit. Benny Hill made fun of feminism. You didn't even realize that they were making fun of it. Yeah. But, that's how Hollywood's always been. Left, and they know how to course correct. Everything's gone to shit. The problem is they went so far left off the cliff of understanding that things are trying to course correct. Now, that being said, now let's get to the Warner Brothers sale. Okay, I've heard Clownfish TV talk about this, Mr. H, other people, Midnight Edge. Okay, if you're paying attention, I've said this in a video, it's not the money that makes these type of deals, acquisitions happen, it's who you know in the government. because the government has to approve, the president has to approve the deal. So right now, even though Warner Brothers and Netflix said, oh my God, we're gonna sell to Netflix, that deal is never gonna happen. I'll explain. See, Paramount originally offered $30 per share to Warner Brothers for the company. They turned it down and said it's too low. So they said they were going to listen, and this is where the lie comes in. Because after then David sits back, he tells Warner Brothers the hostile takeover, you either accept our deal or there'll be a hostile takeover. I'll warn you, your deal is dead on arrival. He knows because he went through this with Skydance and Paramount, so he understands how these things work. See, when Rupert Murdoch sold 20th Century Fox, he made it very clear he's only selling to Disney. He didn't deceive people. Warner Brothers has, by claiming we'll take any offer. But the problem is when Paramount offered $30, they said no. Then turned around and Netflix offered the same thing. They accepted it. Find that a little odd. So what does Paramount do? They come out with a higher bid, still gets turned down. Then they offer $108 billion. $72 billion is what Netflix is offering. And Paramount comes with a much higher offer. $108 billion, and yet Warner Brothers says no to it. I find that a little suspicious. Why are they so insistent on selling Netflix? And I said it, the deal won't go through because then the FCC and the Department of Justice and Senator said Pam Bondi can't be, she needs to step away. Of course she won't be running into this. She'll head somebody in the Department of Justice to look into this. Expect, like Donald Trump's personally involved in this because he's aligned with David Ellison and his father Larry Ellison. So Paramount will get this company. And Warner Brothers has no say in it. The hostile takeover hasn't happened. But this is where Netflix is in trouble because antitrust. See, Netflix has never opened itself up to anything. Nobody knows where their money, how much money they have, where their money comes from. This is where regulators are going to not approve the deal because they're anti-competition. They're not a studio. They were originally they were originally DVDs. They don't want to be operating in the movie theaters. They want everything streaming. They want to shut down the movie theater. This goes against this, including internationally. They would love to see all theaters shut down. That's anti-competition. David Ellison doesn't want to do that. He does want movies in theaters. He wants to save Hollywood, like Donald Trump says. Why would he approve Netflix? Netflix hates Hollywood. That's why they're in Silicon Valley. So this deal was dead on arrival to begin with. So there's the big problem. So when they go through this, and then the complaint that Paramount isn't opening themselves to let us, they don't have to open themselves to you, Warner Brothers or Netflix. They only have to, and they've been through this, so they know the only ones have to look in their books in their company is the FCC. Yep, this is where the regulators come in, and they're already not going to approve this deal, so Netflix will face antitrust. This might be the end of Netflix. It could or may not, it all depends. But I guarantee you, Trump said antitrust is coming for Netflix if they think they're getting Warner Brothers. So Paramount will get it. It's just going to take time, and it does take time. These deals have to be approved by the FCC, Department of Justice will get involved, and ultimately it has to be signed off to be approved by the President of the United States. And Donald Trump has already said he's in this to help Paramount, not Netflix. Netflix knows nobody in the government that gives a fuck about this company. This is a company that, where does their money come from? They have never opened themselves up. They've never shown their losses, and Paramount and other studios have to show when they lose money. They do have to regularly put out their financials. Netflix has never done this. This is why they're in trouble. They're a shade. I don't trust Netflix. I paid the high price for Netflix. Yeah. Because I don't want the fucking ads. I know what they'll do. They'll shove ads, and it's not good for anyone. So yeah, that's why Netflix is anti-competition. Paramount still will put things out on DVD. David Ellison believes in saving Hollywood, and so does Trump. So Netflix wants to kill off the idea of going to movies. Paramount doesn't. And look, I think they're planning to reboot Star Trek. Yeah, get rid of the Kelvin universe, the thing Abrams created. Yeah, I've heard that. I could be wrong. Now, Yeah, so in the end, when this is all said and done, for all the people that think this was going to be Netflix, it's not going to happen. Yeah, simplest way to put it. It's not the money, it's who you know. And now, when David Zaslav and Warner Bros. Realized there is no Netflix deal, Paramount now can decide how much they really want to offer. Are they going to go back to the original $30 per share, or are they going to give them the $108 billion that they offered the second time? This is where things, and the deal will be approved when Paramount gets it, and that will be good for everyone because Paramount will save. They'll incorporate like they did with Paramount, and look, it's also cheaper to have Paramount. David Ellison own it to a point. Now we can look at what happened with what Barry Weiss just recently did with 60 Minutes, because they had done showed it off in Canada. They had a story about CCOP where they went inside the El Salvador prison where Trump sold a bunch of Venezuelans to El Salvador, because the stories coming out of there were torture and everything. It's a torture dungeon prison. So apparently 60 Minutes send a journalist down there. They went inside CCOT and they showed they recorded what was going on there. Barry Weiss killed the story for the U.S., but Canada and stuff got let out there, and it turns out, they admitted, she had killed the story because apparently it may have made the Trump administration look really bad. Don't need to do much of that to make Trump look really bad. Most people aren't paying attention to this. Israel's still killing the Palestinians. I don't give two shits about Israel. I don't care about this stuff. But Americans, I don't want to be anywhere over there. I don't want to be going into Venezuela, which is what Trump says. That's our oil. We have a right to steal it. And said our oil companies are in there. Well, when you try to overthrow the government and you fail and try to assassinate the leader of Venezuela, which, who is a socialist, by the way, they kind of tell your companies to go fuck themselves. So now they're stealing oil tankers. America went from human trafficking to being pirates. And apparently they're planning to overthrow the Colombian government. Oh, and here's another thing. Fentanyl doesn't come through Venezuela. It comes through Mexico via Afghanistan, through China, to Mexico, where it's flooded in. Now, other drugs do not make it through Venezuela. This is something most Americans don't understand. The military and the police down there, under orders by Maduro, have seized any drugs. Triago, yes, the gang that hates Maduro and tries to kill him on a regular basis, and have failed, tried to bring drugs into Venezuela, and they have failed because they get taken and destroyed. They are not trafficking drugs through Venezuela. You say a lot of things, but that's one thing that if you research it, you would know is not true. So when they claim these boats are drug trafficking boats, what proof did they show anybody? None. They just told you, and you're supposed to believe it. This is why I trust nobody in the government. They don't tell you shit. Oh, and just to clear a matter up, Charlie Kirk was politically assassinated. Everybody agrees with that. Okay, now I'm going to explain all political assassinations in this country and elsewhere that America is involved in are carried out by the CIA. From JFK Sr., yes, JFK Jr., RFK Sr., Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and to an extent, I'd say Michael Jackson, because of who they put on Michael Jackson and kicked him was Rabbi Shmuley. Yeah, all political assassinations are carried out by the CIA. So yes, Charlie Kirk's assassination was carried out by this, was political, and it was the CIA. What gives that away? His stance on Israel changed. He did. He decided he couldn't support it, and they tried to change his mind. It didn't work, so they had him killed. Now, Candace Owens and Tim Pool, two grifting pieces of human shit, both are mad that they can't grift very hard off the Charlie Kirk assassination, so they both play this stupid game. And Candace Owens, just like with her lawsuit that she's going to lose to the Macrones, she runs her mouth and says a bunch of nonsense that isn't true. Nobody in Turning Point had anything to do with this. Erica Kirk didn't. People go, well, look at the way she Oh, after her husband's death, she was right there when her husband was murdered in front of her and her children. Telling somebody how to grieve the loss of their loved one, plus her not tell anybody where the body's buried. She doesn't want. She knows that what would happen. People would desecrate his grave, or they would make a big. She doesn't want people bothering her late husband. That's why she doesn't give out where he's buried. And some people think, oh, the way this whole thing, it's like, oh, he must still be alive. Yeah, nice try. Yeah. I can see where somebody said, well, if you look at when he was shot back here, the bullet came out here, there was blood pooling down his shirt, but then suddenly when they're carrying him, he has no blood on his shirt. So I get where some people might, looking at that, think that he wasn't killed. I don't know, but I know the guy they're claiming this year could not have shot Charlie Kirk. When they show you the person, there's no way it could happen the way they're telling you. But remember, Kash Patel said they had 2 people they let go. The guy they're claiming wants to be famous for saying he did it. Kind of like the guy, a lot of times. Now, let's go back to Donald Trump. Okay, I saw the photo of the bullet, the size of the bullet that flew by Trump's head, the one that supposedly hit him. There's no way that bullet hit Trump. That's a high-capacity bullet. Okay, if that bullet hit Trump's ear, it hit the amount of force when that thing hit would have taken his ear. It wouldn't have left a hole. His ear, which, like mine, see it? Like most people, are kind of like this. It's kind of a hard thing to hit the ear. You understand that? If it did hit his ear, it would have taken that thing off, and probably it would have done more damage to him, and he wouldn't have popped up and gone like this. So let's drop the act that they tried to kill Trump. They staged it so that Trump supporters would think, oh my God, they tried to kill him. They never tried to kill Trump. It was all staged. That's what the CIA does. And who is the CIA? Palantir. Yes, Palantir staged this to make you feel bad for Trump, just like all the prosecutions, which were complete crap. And I don't suck Donald Trump's dick. I've never, I voted for him in 2020, but I don't particularly like Donald Trump. I do like some things he's doing, but now this whole thing with Venezuela, yeah, they want to invade Venezuela over the oil. It's going to happen. And saying that Maduro's ill, I don't know the truth about the election. I heard it was a clean election, but who knows? We don't know. The U.S. never, so what is the truth? Don't know. Don't care. I don't want to go to war with any country. I despise violence. I despise what Israel does. I despise what Iran did. I hate all this shit. I always find it funny when people say, oh my God, and then they'll sit there and depending on which side of the fucking aisle you're on, they'll support violence from one side and they'll despise it from the other side. I hate all of it. Understand that. What I find ironic about Candace Owens is, oh my God, this bitch is a racist. She comes out and attacks Ben Shapiro, and I don't like Ben Shapiro. Never really liked the guy. There's a lot I don't like him. But he pointed out that Candace Owens hates the Jews, and she comes out and actually admits it. It was funny as hell when she started attacking Ben Shapiro and the things she said about him, that I was like, oh my God, this woman's a racist. She hates the Jews. She pulled up a book from a guy who denied the Holocaust. Yeah. You can't get this off of Amazon. You have to go to a site with the guy who wrote the book. I'm not joking. Go watch her video where she trashes and calls him a derogatory term for Jews. Says that they were slave owners, which isn't. Oh my God! All these and points out a book written by a man who denied the Holocaust. And as Alex Jones pointed out, there were no Egyptian planes involved in anything. It's all crap. It's all distraction, people. Distraction over here. Because they don't want you to see what they're about to do to Venezuela and Colombia. Yeah. So, yeah, getting that out of the way. Okay. I want to just get that off my mind. Because, oh my God. Now, let's go to this. Okay. We have this Abrego Garcia guy who had to come here as a kid because he's from El Salvador originally. Okay, his parents sent him to the United States because The two gangs, MS-13 and this other gang, they like to force kids to join their gang. If they don't, they'll kill them. So his parents fearing for his life sent him to the U.S. Okay, he'd been here a long time. Under the Biden administration, oh, and by the way, I'll just tell you something. MS-13 have tattoos that tell you they're on their neck, I think on their chest and on their back. They lit you. They're proud to call themselves MS-13. The hand thing, I know nothing about that crap. But MS-13, their neck has MS-13 on it. These are fucking people that let you proudly display that they're fucking. It's like a white supremacist with a Nazi tattoo. Right there on their neck. Right here, they have MS-13. So they don't hide their, Brega didn't have any of that. And who told him that he was in, when he was stopped by the Biden Department of Justice while he was wearing a Chicago Bull pullover? And they questioned him, was an MS-13 gang member, two of them, who told him he was there. When they questioned him, they investigated Abrego. He was, by the way, married with children. He's married to an American woman. He's lived here a long time, paid taxes. They've allowed him to stay because, and the courts, even the Biden administration said, sending him back will be a death sentence. He'd be killed because he's helped the U.S. government. He's actually as far, So he's allowed to stay here under, Here's the thing, he's not an MS-13 gang member. Then, when they arrest him, deport him, of course, they bring him back because they know they weren't supposed to send him to El Salvador under that fucking, Wasn't just Biden, it was the courts that said, he has asylum here because it's dangerous to send him back. So they weren't supposed to deport him. Then Pam Bondi comes up with a bunch of nonsense, literally from Jeffrey Epstein, saying, Abrego Garcia, not once did anybody in the Department of Justice ever find any of this evidence. She comes up with nonsense about how he's a child sex trafficker and all this shit. And then they wonder why his lawyers turned down their goddamn deal, which is crap to begin with. Do you understand? They have nothing on him. He's broken no laws. He's lived here most of his life since he was a teenager. He's paid taxes. He's married with kids. And I hear all these idiots who don't know shit about it go, why is he still here? Morons. He's never broken the law. He's allowed to live here. They gave him asylum because of the threat to his life if he's sent back to El Salvador. Yes, MS-13's made very clear they'll kill him. They want him deported there because they want to kill him. And being in CCOT is the only reason he was alive, and it wasn't, he had to be isolated because they were trying to kill him in prison. This is stuff people don't read up on. So Brego's been accused of crimes they can't prove in court, and this is where it will fall apart that's why he's still here. They can't prove anything that they claim. This is and this will get into the Epstein stuff. Okay, I've already done one video about Jeffrey Epstein, how he started as Bear Stearns Wall Street. Yes, he was a hedge fund. He worked for Bear Stearns in the 70s to 81. This is how we met people like Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Michael Jackson, and others. And then he left that life of working in Wall Street to join the CIA as an arms dealer and money launderer during the height of the Iran-Contra. Yes, because Jimmy Carter had cut the funding and the government had prevented the CIA under Jimmy Carter from doing what they usually do, invade other countries, overthrow governments and everything. So they needed a way to launder money so they can still sell weapons to countries like Iran and other countries like Saudi Arabia, still arm Israel and everything. So Jeffrey Epstein comes in. He's sent to Israel on behalf to sell weapons and everything. This is where he meets the Israeli intelligence and he meets Mossad agents, which is Ghislaine Maxwell and her father, Robert Maxwell. They were trained by Mossad. They were essentially Mossad agents. That's how they meet. And while he's doing this, because of his great work helping them hide and launder money, they give him his New York apartment, which was a CIA, massive penthouse. Think about this building. It has a very elaborate way for him to get kids into New York without anyone even spotting them. How do you think he turned that place into his hub of child sex trafficking? Yeah. Now, Donald Trump. Epstein said in a deposition when asked, how do you describe your relationship? Oh, we're friends. But when he was asked, did you ever witness Trump have sex with girls? Epstein didn't deny it. He pled the fifth. One thing about Jeffrey Epstein, he's very loyal to friends and to his clients. He would never give them up, no matter what. Okay, so Virginia Roberts, who ended up somehow working for Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago when she was 15, ended up in Epstein's apartment when no one even realized she was trafficked there. She said this before she was murdered, that she was trafficked by Trump and Epstein from Mar-a-Lago to his apartment. Okay. That means somehow you're able to get kids into Mar-a-Lago, use Mar-a-Lago to get them. Yeah, there has to be something going on where they could sneak her out of Mar-a-Lago, get her to New York, with no one even noticing her disappearing. And yes, Trump did publicly, because when he tried to hit on a 16-year-old at his golf course publicly, it endangered the opera Trump. So he had to turn him in. That's why, and by the way, who made Pam Bondi, who's the Attorney General of Florida, give the deal that allowed Epstein to walk free during the day and only sleep in the federal prison at night? The CIA. Okay. While he's running free, he goes and buys Little St. James, the island of Little St. James, which later people would know as, Lolita Island, where he moved all of his child sex trafficking from his apartment in New York to the island. He didn't use the island just for trafficking girls, for adults to have sex with. He also used it for other things like humanitarian causes, like Chris Tucker said. So the flight logs actually do not really help with much exposing the clients of Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, Bill Clinton went there 26 times. We know he had sex with kids. Yeah. You don't go that many times, And there's, they released there's photos. Michael Jackson was a client of Jeffrey Epstein when it came to Wall Street. That's how, like George Lucas, Stephen Hawkins, musicians and politicians, that's how they met Jeffrey Epstein. So he worked for the CIA. And so the stuff they're releasing is nothing, because they don't have what's called the ledger, the master ledger, which is just all of Epstein's clients. And I'll tell you, Trump is. In fact, I know he was a client, because a woman sued Donald Trump, claiming that when she was trafficked by Epstein when she was 13 years old, Trump raped her in Epstein's apartment. She sued Donald Trump, and they settled. Because Trump knew going to court over this would have absolutely made people know the truth. Yes. So Epstein's own brother has come out and said if the MAGA supporters, Donald Trump supporters, knew the truth that a depraved relationship between Trump and Epstein, they would never vote for Donald Trump. So yes, Trump was not just helping Epstein, he was a client. Also, Harvey Weinstein, a lot of people go, yeah, his New York case was crap. They knew from the beginning it was never going to hold up. But his California court case was solid. They had the video of him and one of his victims. Plus, you had Jeffrey Epstein and Oprah Winfrey trafficking underage girls to Harvey Weinstein. There's photos of Oprah Winfrey kissing Harvey as one of his victims sits right there. So he didn't go after just Hollywood. He went after, So, yes, Harvey Weinstein's a rapist. And he was the most powerful guy in Hollywood that could destroy your career if you didn't let him have his way with you. So give me a break on old Harvey with the innocent bullshit. Christopher Masterson's innocent. Bill Cosby was innocent. I get into that because Bill Cosby didn't do it. The original prosecutor found no evidence back up the way. He even testified for Bill Cosby. Judge Tosman said hostile witness. The deposition cleared Bill Cosby of any wrongdoing. He didn't give women anything to drink, gave them a Quaalude. They didn't get knocked out. They had sex with him. He never took women to his home. He didn't need to drug women because women wanted to sleep with Bill Cosby. He just gave them a Quaalude, which was a party drug. Yeah. So, yeah. So while innocent men were being destroyed, Harvey Weinstein, and this is where the problem with the Me Too thing. Yes, Harvey Weinstein, rapist. Matt Lauer, rapist. But then you had some women taking advantages to go after innocent men like Jeremy Piven, Brett Ratner, John Lasseter, and any guy who they were made accusation were pushed out. And the feminists who wanted to destroy men, that's what happened. With no proof, they were destroying the innocent men's lives. This is why Aziz Ansari, thank God for a journalist exposing the lie in that woman's story that proved that, no, Aziz Ansari did not rape that woman. That's why you had the Australian case of a guy stopping to help a woman. She accused him of rape. Later, video showed that he didn't rape her and he will never help another woman. He told that to 60 Minutes Australia. There was the Facebook where a woman accused a guy of raping her. Only later did his sister-in-law was able to get the entire Facebook community that showed that she had edited him to make it look like he was apologizing for raping her when he actually said was, I'm sorry, but I just got out of a bad relationship. I'm not looking to get another relationship. And when she showed this to the judge and the prosecutor, they were shocked. Police admitted they didn't bother to investigate her claims. They apologized to the guy. He was freed. A woman had accused over 5 men of raping her, was found guilty, and I think the judge gave her almost life in prison for that. See, women will use rape accuse you of rape to get you to bend the knee to them. If you don't bend the knee to them, or in the case of Scientology, if you try to leave Scientology, they'll put you in prison for not raping a woman, like with Christopher Masterson. Yeah. Funny how these women never once accused him and then said, he must have done it because they say he did it now. That's what bothers me about the whole thing. And no, OJ didn't kill 2 people. Jesus Christ, what a bunch of idiots on that. But yeah. So we have, what is it? Oh yeah, the best game of the year was Claire on Scarab. Yes, it did. But of course the indie game said no because they used AI. Shut the fuck up. So fucking dumb. We live in a dumb time of stupid people. We have the Bondi, the terrorist attack in Australia at Bondi Beach, where I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a Jew in Australia, get the fuck out. That government is so Islamic, they fucking support Hamas. Yeah. And how we know this? Because after the shooting, the government stood by. Police stood by. It was a Muslim man from Syria who's been living in Australia for over, 20 or so years. Got this. Disarmed the father, even though he was shot. And he actually is a hero, and his parents are proud of him. But yet the government knew about these 2, and when asked, are you going to deal with the and they were firing fireworks in Australia when this massacre went down, where these Jews were killed on the first day of Hanukkah. When asked, are you going to deal with the Muslim extremism in your country, they said, no, we're going to take your guns away. So on one hand, they tell the Jews, we're going to fight anti-Semitism, yet they're not going to fight the actual anti-Semitism against Islam. Because Australia's government is cucked for Hamas. And they were warned about the father and son being connected, being enthralled with ISIS. So yes, they don't give a shit. They pretend to care about the Jews, yet they didn't do anything to stop the shooting. Then we have Brown University, and I love the press conference where the cops act like we got the guy. The shooter shot himself. They found his dead body. They didn't get him. He was dead. If he is the shooter, but yeah, them acting like we got the guy. No, you stupid assholes. The guy killed himself. You didn't stop him. You didn't do shit to stop his. It's like every shooting. They act like we got him. No, motherfuckers, you didn't stop what happened. Why are cops so useless at stopping mass shootings at universities? Why do they not stop any school shooting? Why do they, like what happened in Texas, stand by and allow the shooting to go on, like in Bondi Beach? And then they want to take your right to protect yourself. That's what they're saying in Australia. We've got to take guns away. Make the people more unable to protect themselves. Because it isn't the cops that will save you. It's the people who can protect themselves from a shooter. Because any time like the Texas clock tower shooter. It was a civilian that took out the shooter. It isn't the police that will protect you. In America, they've already been told they're not here to serve and protect you. You're on your own, as the Supreme Court has said, and as in Parkland, when the parents sued the school, sued the city, and sued the police, they were told in all three, you have no right to sue. You can't sue the school because your kids are not forced to go to school. You can't sue the city because they have no duty to protect you. And the police, their job isn't here to serve you. They serve the elites. So yes, the cops do not have to do a damn thing. They can stand by and watch the crime happen and then react. Like the guy who was stabbed on the subway train in New York sued the police, and Supreme Court said, oh, I'm sorry, police don't have to do shit for you. You know what this means? Cops can watch a woman get raped and do nothing until after the rape is done, and then they can react and do something. But be assured, if you think the cops are going to protect you, you're fucking dumb. This is why the whole thing of Australia giving up their gun rights was the dumbest thing these people could have ever done. But you know, people do this all the time. They give up their fundamental right to protect themselves because they think the government will protect them, and they tend to not. That's why I believe everybody should have a right to arm and protect themselves. I'm not talking about the criminals. I'm not talking about them, you know. Oh, and since this is Christmas Eve, you want to hear a funny thing? I saw Portland, because I used to live in Portland. I live in Gresham now. Oh my God. Instead of a Christmas tree this year, they decided to put a big green butt plug. Yes, to be more inclusive. I saw this thing that they showed instead of the Christmas tree. They went with a giant green, it looks like a giant butt plug. Oh, there's your inclusion. We're going to put a thing you shove up your ass for be more inclusive. Oh, God, I hate that word. Now, I noticed something. Liberals, what the fuck's wrong with you people? I mean, dear God, I remember the early, 90s and stuff. Portland used to be a very clean city. Same with Gresham. But something snapped. Maybe it was Donald Trump becoming president. You people decided to embrace garbage everywhere and homelessness. I mean, Portland's had a homeless, but not nearly on the level it does now. This Multnomah County is one of the filthiest places to live. I live in Gresham, and it's fucking trash everywhere. You go out and you say, ugh. And I use a wheelchair because I have a bad back. And I see this, and I don't have the energy to pick up trash. And the city doesn't do anything about it. And it's gotten worse. Powell, you go towards downtown Gresham, and I was like, oh, God, there's trash everywhere. You know, I literally have to move out of Multnomah County to get away from the trash. It's so goddamn bad. And most people don't see it because they drive and they don't pay attention. I've seen it. Yeah, and then I was heading to the movies to watch, unfortunately, Silent Night, Deadly Night, and then Do Rond Har, one of the greatest action films this year. Going through an area I grew up in called Damascus, and I noticed on the side of the road where the ditches are, there was trash, which means people are tossing their trash out their car, because it used to not be like this. People are throwing their trash out their cars on the side. It's what the fuck is wrong with you people? California is shit, and these fucking Californians move up here. They can't drive in rain worth shit, and they're throwing their trash everywhere, and they're walking by this stuff, and I'm going, oh, this makes me sick. Yeah, you go to LA and it's fucking trash everywhere, homeless. These people, something fucking in their brain snapped, and they went, yeah, we love trash and homelessness. And it just makes me go, God, this is a depressing place to live. Yeah, what the fuck, liberals? You are disgusting. I wish I had the ability to get rid of all trash. Like create a pocket dimension all trash went to. Yeah, and I would basically do to anybody who dropped trash on the ground, boom. And I'll admit it, I used to throw my cigarette butts on the ground. Now I look at this stuff since I quit smoking, I go, oh my God, I was this bad once. And they have trash cans, they'll put the trash on, and oh my God, this is so bad. Oh God, it's disgusting. They leave their fucking food things sitting around. I'm like, throw it in the trash, there's a trash can. Nope, they'll leave it on the ground. It's so disgusting. Yeah. And, oh my gosh. So yeah, I've talked about Hollywood, I've talked about, yeah. And I just wanted to do this for the, and AI's here to stay. Yes, when you program something, oh my God, we're upset with AI being used in gaming. Shut the fuck up. Gaming companies, if you program something, of course you're using AI. You want to know who's the biggest creator of AI in the fucking world? Is Palantir AI. They are the fucking company founded by Peter Thiel, the guy who created PayPal. Elon Musk funded it, and Alex Karp, their CEO. They create, the digital ID shit. They created it. Yes. Now England has that. A lot of countries have digital ID to protect the children. Now the UK, Europe is trying to tell America, you have to use our system in your country. No, we don't. You have it in Europe. That's one thing. You have it in the UK. You can't tell a country like America or tech companies, you have to follow our rules in your country. No, they don't. Every country has a right to protect the children, do whatever they want, laws they want, how they want to control the internet. In your country, not outside your borders. This is a problem with UK. They're trying to tell Twitter and everything, you must now follow our laws in your country, where you're from. No, they don't. So, yeah. And Trump is like, yeah, nope. And Elon's right. They can't tell tech companies what to do outside their country. Can't tell them what to do. And by the way, Palantir already created their Skynet, which I'll give you the facts that tell me this. Okay, everybody remember the day Iran was attacked, suddenly the internet went down? Satellites suddenly weren't working right before Iran was attacked? There you go. Human beings couldn't do that. You have to have a system, a program that's created to do that. Right before Iran was attacked. That's why it was so shocking when the attack in Iran went down so well. And they killed, oh my God, people were shocked that Israel's attacking Iran without anyone even realizing it. Because Skynet already exists. It's been planning everything for a long time. This thing's learned to think even better than humans. 9/11, October the 7th, anything you can think of they've been behind it. Palantir runs your government, people. Whitney Webb said this, and they tried to destroy her, lie about her, and destroy her credibility. For anybody who wants to know more about fucking Epstein, talk to Whitney Webb. She's one of the best journalists about it. And there's others who have talked about this before her, about Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, I started looking into Jeffrey Epstein. But yeah, Palantir runs your government. Hell, they create systems. That Al Karp said, we create systems, we show them off, and then we sell them. That's why China bought it. That's why Russia bought it. And so many other countries, because they convince them you need this digital ID. Where I come out from is run by Palantir. Yeah. They're pushing, and you don't even realize, these guys believe in capitalism for themselves. What they're pushing the world is, and why is communism becoming a thing? Because they want to push authoritarianism. They want themselves to control your world. Them to have the power to decide who can do what. That's what's going on. And people aren't paying attention. They're getting you distracted with DEI in Hollywood or the Epstein nonsense. Yes. You're not paying attention. They want to they're trying to get rid of Maduro so they can steal the oil. They're going to attempt to overthrow the Cuban government. They did this in Nepal. They did this in other countries. And Belarus just had their government. Young people aren't behind this. This is called the CIA. They use democracy, their U.S. aid to manipulate the young and the Gen Z to go, yeah, sure, things are unfair, you need to overthrow your government. And then they'll give them nothing. So what they want is, they want to tear China and Russia down. I've said it, when it all is said and done, my biggest fear is gold is so expensive right now that they will cause, and they created BRICS. They pushed Russia and China together. They wanted these two countries to be so interlocked. Look what they've done to Japan. Their currency is collapsing. Their economy, their country's collapsing. Population is old. And their new prime minister is an idiot. She wants to piss off China. So China basically tells their citizens they're not allowed to go to Japan. They're not buying their fish. Their currency is collapsing. They're not having kids. Their countryside is disappearing because all the young went to Tokyo. They'd rather live in the big cities in small apartments. They're not having kids. They have a small, minute homeless problem. Yes, they have some graffiti, but it's not what some people are trying to say about Japan. It's not as bad as America or Europe. Yeah, but Japan, they can't win a war against China. China has hypersonic missiles that they can launch right at Japan's nuclear power plants, destroying them. Japan has to rely on Russia for all their energy resources, which, by the way, being the fact that Russia has warned Japan and South Korea, neither has natural resources. Stop pissing off North Korea and China. If you keep doing it, we will stop selling you oil and natural gas, the things you need. America can't supply that to them. And there's nothing, if Japan's stupid enough to think they can go to war with China, America's not going to save you. Do you understand? America's not going to save you, Japan, because America's way over there, across the Pacific. You don't have the ability to take China on. They don't have to even launch one boat. And Taiwan, is all the country in the UN said, is a part of China. The people of Taiwan speak Cantonese. That is the language of mainland China. The original government China that Mao overthrew fled to Taiwan, China. Yes, and the government running Taiwan are Japanese, pretend to be Chinese. Do you understand? The world as a whole, in every aspect of the UN, including the United States, in fact, has recognized Taiwan as a part of China, but you want a war with China. China doesn't want war with anyone. They're not trying to start wars. Russia is fighting a war for its existence against the West. All because the U.S. under Obama, the CIA, had to overthrow the government and have the Maidan massacre and try to blame that on Russia. Nope. This was all planned by the CIA. Why are this war still going? Why can't Trump end it? Because they need to keep Russia isolated. They need Russia. And Russia's not losing the war, they're winning it. It also makes Russia focus here. They have to focus, and they just had another attack in their country. Ukraine's losing, but at the same time, they're still attacking Russia from within. Still carrying out terrorist attacks inside Russia. This war will not end. Putin, if he really wanted to end the war, could have ended it. But why isn't he? Because they're making money off of the fucking weapons they make. Arms dealers. America and Russia, two of the largest arms dealers in the world. Make weapons, show them off, and then sell them. That's what Russia's doing right now. Their economy is war-based. Weapons. They show off hypersonic missiles and they sell them to China, North Korea, and other countries. Interesting. Putin could have ended this. And as my caregiver, who's from Russia, said, she talks to her friends and says nothing's good in Russia. Nobody can travel freely. It's communism. It's the Soviet Union without the word Soviet. It's got still the same fucking, everything is still the same. There is no freedom in Russia. They show you Moscow and St. Petersburg. Yeah, they keep those areas clean. Go outside, then you'll find poverty in Russia. Why do you think so many Russians are fighting in Ukraine? Because they're all poor. It's still, without the name, it's still a communist country. Yes, they have elections, but the elections, are they fair? We don't know. And, yeah. So, you're being deceived. You're being lied to. You're lied to about the Epstein stuff they never had. You're getting lied to, and you're sitting there going, oh. Now, I heard people like Kirsha bring up about why are the Somalis still here? Why have they not removed them? I couldn't tell you. Trump talked about the Somalis should be. Why are they not? They have the evidence to deport these people. EMR lied about her age. She used her dad, said she was a minor. It turns out she may have been 18, which meant her dad's ability to live here would have precluded her because they claimed that she was a minor using her dad's immigration status to become here means that if she was 18 or older, that means her immigration status is illegal. And yes, she did marry her brother. That has been proven. And yes, she's involved in this scheme that's over what? When originally $1 billion, now it's $6 billion. It may be even higher, and Tim Walz is involved in this. And yes, a guy in another state was in fact doing this same scheme, sending money back. He even admitted it to a reporter that yes, he was essentially stealing money from it and sending it back to try to overthrow it so he could become the leader of Somalia. These people are not integrating in your society. They even say we're not trying to. We don't want to be a part. We want to take over. Yeah, Muslims in Dearborn not winning. Not all Muslims are the same. That is true. There are some that actually have become American citizens and believe in it. Yeah, they don't follow a lot of modern. I've talked to Muslims who said they don't support modern Islam because it doesn't follow what, Islam's supposed to be. See, you had Moses, Jesus, and Muhammad. Muhammad didn't teach anything that modern Islam is. He literally gave the same type of, to when he created Islam, is the same thing Jesus when he created Christianity. It's all based on Judaism. Yeah. And they were all Syrians. So, yeah. But modern Islam believes in jihadists and terrorism and murder and all this stuff. That isn't what Muhammad ever taught his people. Taught when he created Islam. He was pretty much given the same message Jesus did to all of his followers. Take care of each other. Don't kill each other. Don't hate each other. None of that. Resist sin. He never considered himself a prophet. Jesus didn't consider himself a prophet. Neither did Moses. They were just men who essentially were trying to deliver God's message. But we live in a world where people don't follow religion anymore. A lot of intolerance in this world that we live in. A lot of intolerance. And religion gets twisted to fit anybody. Why do you think New Testament, everything gets changed to fit whoever's bullshit they want you to believe? Yeah. Look at. Yeah, the world's messed up. It's not going to get better right now. I mean, can America turn around? Absolutely. But we have a lot to clean up. We have a lot of problems with illegals getting food. Yeah, like here in Oregon, where I live. They were giving out food stamps. They were giving out housing to undocumented illegals. They're even bragging about it here. Yeah. And they're suing the Trump administration over the changes to EBT, which is a federal government program. Which, by the way, yes, the federal government can change the rules of who gets it. And states are suing, thinking they're entitled to this. No, they're not. I've said before, I'm on EBT because I'm disabled. I say get rid of the program. Yeah, get rid of it. This way, none of these welfare bitches who can physically work should be working. I've said before, get a job. Quit being lazy. I wish I could work. This is what I'm what's called catastrophic health. I have so many health issues, like a bad back. I have muscles so knotted. I have to wait till next year to get what's called needling, which is trying to straighten my muscles out. I have arthritis in my lower back. I have emphysema. I have rheumatoid arthritis in my hands. I have diabetes. Yes, and I have both my feet. I had gastritic, as you can see. I've lost weight. I am down to 170 from 305. I still use an electric wheelchair to get around and that's what's in the background. See that over here? That's my electric wheelchair. Yeah, I use that to get around because I can't walk very far. It sucks. It sucks. And I watch people take advantage of this. Get these people out of here. And they do it here in Oregon. And I'm on Section 8 housing, which I'm glad I have it because I lived in home forward housing. It sucks because they let people in who don't give a shit about it and they turn it into trash. I saw that where I moved, the last place I lived. Where when I first moved in, it was clean, it was nice. It was mixed housing, they had kids and everything. The management there kept the place clean. There was no dog shit everywhere, no trash on the ground. They got rid of those two. And they brought in new that don't give a shit about the place. And the place went downhill. There was dog shit outside my door. And I complained and they were like, we don't do anything about trash everywhere. I eventually moved out here. Unfortunately, out in where I live, it's part of what's called Rockwood. Gresham, but there's Rockwood, Portland. It's fucking full of trash. And it never used to be like this. It used to be clean out here. You didn't have trash. It's changed. Maybe it was Donald Trump broke these people's brains, but they love their homelessness. They love spending wasted money on it. And they have trash. And it's disgusting. They don't care. And they talk about, oh, climate change, yet they're letting their environment be destroyed by trash. The most disgusting thing is all the trash. They don't clean it up. And then when you try to clean up, it's a mess to clean up, and it destroys the area. Yeah. And there are people out here who do pick up trash, but the city, why the fuck is the city not doing anything about all the trash? They rarely come out and clean it up. It's such a problem. Yeah, that I live out in this place. You know, so I can tell you, liberals are fucking retarded. California liberals are fucking commie retards. They don't know how to drive in the rain. When it rains out here, they're literally like, they get on the freeway and they drive slowly. Suddenly, everything backs up because these California retards can't drive worth crap. And I'm not joking. They can't drive in the rain. When it rains, they're so like, oh, I don't know how to drive. So they all get on the freeway and it slows down to a crawl because, why? I don't know. I wish California idiots would be able to drive right. They can't. They're worse than fucking somebody from Japan or Korea that drives. Jesus Christ. I see so many people, I can tell they're from California, just look at how they drive. They drive like shit. Look at when it's raining. They can't drive worth crap. And they bring their fucking liberal shit up here, leftist shit, and they throw trash everywhere. They let homelessness become a problem. Oh, my God. Fuck. And Republicans in this state are no better than Democrats. They're all shit. That's why I don't support either party, because they're both crap at fucking, they love to lie to you. They love to tell you, oh, and then they don't do shit. Oh, Tina Kotex, that fucking dumb bitch is from California. I didn't even know this. So I looked into her. Oh, she's with Kate Brown, one of the worst governor we've ever fucking had. She's the reason so many kids died of fentanyl overdoses. God, Kate Brown, fucking bitch. I hate that woman. And then find out Tina Kotex is her friend from California. Idiots don't understand communism, socialism. I had to explain this to an idiot where all fascism got started in Italy. There's two types of fascists. Fascist and anti-fascist. There's no distinction. No, I said that comes directly from Italy. Yeah. Socialism and communism are almost perfectly aligned. They believe keep the wealth up here, don't keep people in poverty. Go look, yeah. And so all these people think we're going to redistribute. No, you're not. The rich are never going to give up their wealth. That's why Bernie Sanders is rich and doesn't give his money up for the poor. That's why AOC is rich and doesn't give her money up for the poor. They lied to you. We live in a stupid fucking time. We have Europe literally stopping celebrating Christmas because Islamic extremists will commit terrorism if they do. Oh my God, fuck the world. Oh my God. Oh, fuck. What a fucking world we live in. Europe is all stupid. Oh my God, I go and see good movies and I don't even watch the local news because it's just, yeah, it's all messed up. The world is complete shit. Oh God, day before Christmas. We have some idiot saying that Jingle Bells is racist towards black people. Yeah, and the thing cracked me up even more is when I hear you say monkey, and so many black people get offended, forgetting that all human beings are related to primates. It isn't just black people, but you say certain words and they go, oh, you can't say that. That's racist. And I actually talked to somebody from Brazil who lives near the rainforest, and he says, yeah, you know what they call the monkeys that come on people's porch down there? Put the word porch and then put the word monkey. Yeah. And I said, you know up here they consider that racist for lazy, to me, lazy black person? And he goes, first of all, if you knew the monkeys, they're not lazy. They like to come on the porch because they get fed. That's why they call them, they hang out because they know they'll get food. That's why they call them porch monkeys. Yeah, they're friendly and they work their ass off. All primates are hardworking individuals. Why would I consider that to a lazy black person or any lazy person? I respect monkeys. They're more intelligent than dumb people. Monkeys are way smarter than most of fucking human beings on this planet. So I wouldn't compare the dumbest people on the planet to monkeys. Oh my God. Yeah. And then there's avocado. I talked to this guy who also happened to be from Africa and said the same thing. He goes, what do you call the monkeys that come on your porch? And he said it. He goes, oh, no, don't say that in America. There's black people who get offended and say that means. You look it up, it says lazy black man. Go, what? He didn't understand that. Why that's... Because monkeys are not lazy. They're hard workers. That's an insult to the monkey. That was from an African who said that, and I said, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And he goes, we don't consider the monkeys lazy. We consider them actually, they're smart and they're fast. We would never say that about a monkey. That's an insult to the monkey. And I go, yeah. So, yeah, I know people are probably watching and go, what the fuck did he just say? Hey, I'm telling you what I heard, what people told me. Yeah. But I looked and go, yeah, there's a stupid world we live in. Stupid times, stupid people. Everything's racist. Nothing's racist. Anita saw Carrie Keys and apparently when married herself. Pokimane gives herself an engagement ring. We've got, my God, so many stupid people. Oh my God. We got some skank hoe who went to Bali and basically got her ass arrested and then kicked out of the country. Can't come back for 10 years. Oh my God, what is with this human race? Oh, Nicki Minaj, one of the skankiest bitches, goes to CPAC. What the fuck? When I saw that, I said, why the fuck? Oh, because she stands with Christianity. Bitch is a slut who talks about her wet ass pussy, jiggles her ass, and talks about anaconda, which means giant penis, by the way. Yeah, she talks all this slutty stuff, and then they invite her to CPAC. Oh my God, what the fuck? Oh, this world is fucking stupid. Oh my gosh. We got people who go, what's a Christmas movie? Okay, Die Hard 1 and 2 are Christmas movies. Yes, Die Hard could not work if it did not take place at Christmas time. Die Hard 2, they're literally John McClane's wife are going back home for Christmas when he gets stuck at the airport because, terrorism. Or, I forgot the story. Rennie Harlan directed. I enjoyed it. Home Alone 1, I know is a Christmas movie. I think Home Alone 2 is. Yeah, I think that's a Christmas movie. Plane Train... I'm trying to remember what... Was that a... No, that was a Thanksgiving movie. Yeah, that was a Thanksgiving movie. Yeah, there's a lot of movies they try to say are Christmas movies, but the plot doesn't center around Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of movies where, oh yeah, Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. It takes place at Christmas time. Penguin uses, there's Christmas trees. It's 100% a Christmas movie. Shut the fuck up. The whole thing is, yeah. Because what was it? Alfred gives Bruce Wayne a Christmas present. Jesus Christ, the whole plot is centered around Christmas. Yeah. I just find it funny when people, no, Die Hard like Christmas. It wouldn't happen when he's in New York, he's in California, be with his family for Christmas. They're having a Christmas party. There's a tree. They're drinking eggnog when the terrorists come in. Oh my God. He has Christmas presents. Jesus Christ, the movie. Literally, John McTiernan said it's a fucking Christmas movie. Bruce Willis, everybody in the cast said, yeah, this is a Christmas movie. Shut the fuck up. Oh my God, I get tired of hearing that. It's not a Christmas movie. Oh, yeah. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is a Christmas movie. Shut the fuck up. Now, the Adam Sandler 8 Crazy Nights is, some people think it's a Christmas movie. Adam Sandler's Jewish. I think it's supposed to be a Christmas movie. It might be a Hanukkah movie, but it is 8 Crazy Nights, and you celebrate 8 Crazy Nights of light in the, So it could, I think it's supposed to be a Hanukkah movie, but it could also kind of, because I do think they have Christmas decorations in the movie, but I think it's centered around Hanukkah. I'd have to watch it again. It's a good movie. It's funny. Why did Adam Sandler not become funny later on in life? God, he was so funny when he was younger. Oh. Oh my God. What the hell? I mean, Avatar. Oh, yes. I remember my mom wanted to see Avatar, so we went and saw it. And she asked me what I thought about it. I said, oh, it looked really good, but the story was shit. She loved the movie. I love this movie. She enjoyed it. It's like when we went and saw The Force Awakens and then The Rise of the Skinkwalker. I hated fucking Disney. I hate Disney. I hate everything about this company. Oh, I know the Avatar movies are Warner Brothers, but the thing about she loved the Force Awakens. I hated it. I said this movie's dog shit. Then I saw The Last Jedi. I said, oh, this thing gets worse as it goes on. It's an even bigger piece of shit. Oh, thanks Abrams for your shitty movie, and Rian Johnson, fuck. Oh, and then we went and saw Rise of the Skinkwalker, and she actually enjoyed it. She asked me, I need to see the last movie, Last Jedi? I said, if you don't see it, you don't need to see it. Nope. Didn't need to see The Last Jedi to see the Rise of the Skinkwalker because they are not connected at all. And she enjoyed it. I hated it. I hated the Rogue One. I've not watched anything Disney. Rogue One was, people said, but Vader was really good. Yeah, French horns my ass. And fucking, what the fuck was with the CGI on fucking the actress playing it? She didn't look like Carrie Fisher. I was like, wow, they made her face look cool. And what the fuck did they do to Peter Cushing? That did not look good. Oh yes, the Vader scene looked really cool. That was it. French horns and fucking Vader. Oh my God, that movie is so terrible. And I like Garrett Edwards. Even the first Godzilla movie he did, I don't like the American Godzilla shit. But at least he understood Godzilla to make it, try to make it he tried to make it, an alpha male, change the story to fit what they wanted. Hate the American Godzilla fucking monsterverse. Love Godzilla -1. Soon to be Godzilla -0 or 2. Yeah, the sequel's coming. I think they're also Toei's going to do a sequel to Shin Godzilla. Oh, thank God. But yeah, there's a lot of Christmas movies out there. Silent Night, Deadly Night, Christmas movie. Its sequel is a Christmas movie. Christmas Evil. Bill Goldberg did a Santa Claus slasher film. There's so many of these because of the first one, Silent Night, Deadly Night. Even the Silent Night, somewhat remake, that one with Malcolm McDowell. I like that one. The one I hate is the new one. God, that movie made me angry. I was pissed off. I've not been this angry since I saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and that movie was a pile of shit. Oh, I absolutely fucking hate the new Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's such a boring, obnoxious, pretentious piece of shit. Oh my God, that movie should never have been made. The acting's atrocious. I didn't buy anything. Every contrived thing to make Billy seem like a likable killer. Oh, he's killing people because they're all bad. It's not like the original where he's so traumatized by his parents' death and by the way Mother Superior that, that's what makes him ultimately become a killer is because of all the trauma he suffered. But they go, we have to have conveniences for him to kill an old man, kill all these people, and oh God. Yeah. Home Alone 2. Yeah. Rob Reiner was murdered by his son, and Trump put out a stupid thing going, well, it's sad what happened, but then had to make it about himself. No, Rob Reiner's son didn't kill him because of you, Trump. He killed him because his son's a drug addict. And yes, there was a big fight at Conan O'Brien event because when you're a drug addict and your parents ask you to go get help and quit doing drugs, this is the problem with drug addicts. They're not going to stop until they hit rock bottom, until they want to stop. Nick didn't want to stop. He loved doing drugs. That's the problem with when your dopamine is connected to drugs, you enjoy doing the drugs and you can't stop yourself. Drug addicts won't stop on their own. So, I'm pretty sure he probably told his parents, I'm ready to, told them something to get in the house because there's no forced entry. And when they went to bed, that's when he murdered his parents. And his sister found him and knew right away it was her brother. He's going to go on trial, and it's not good. sad to hear. You may not like Rob Reiner's politics, but I can separate the person from, like Mark Hamill. I think he's a good actor. I don't like the politics towards Trump and everything, but other than that, it's like, yeah, I saw The Long Walk. I thought it was a good movie, mainly because of the young actors. Mark Hamill's fine as this major who basically is following communism, is basically murdering people. Yeah. And he does it with a deadpan, no humor to his characters, like he's been doing this so long. But yeah. And I ain't talking about, like, I've done, my best movies of the year. Okay, The Monkey, Long Walk, Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle, the movie, The Chainsaw Man, the movie, Rize Arc, Jujutsu Kaisen Execution, Together, the Dave Franco and Alison Brie horror movie, goddamn unsettling. And then we have Weapons, we have Final Destination Bloodlines, the final Tony Todd movie, and I actually enjoyed it. Good Boy, what a great horror slasher, what a great horror movie. Starring a dog who didn't know he was in a movie. Directed by a man whose own dog was the star of the movie, and he played Todd in the movie. Yeah, there's, what else? Oh yeah, I saw Sisu, it was on Hulu, and then I saw Sisu 2, The Road to Revenge. What an amazing action film, where the lead actor doesn't say one fucking word the entire time, and starring, it's a Finnish film, yeah. And Stephen Lang gives one of the best Russian accents of all time. I always like Stephen Lang. Even if the movie's crap, he's always good. And, yeah. What else did I see that I enjoyed? I saw Do Ron Har. Great action film. Holy shit, it's from India. God, is that movie amazing. Anybody who's seen it loves it. I get why. The sequel is coming out next March. Yeah. What else did I see that I enjoyed? Sinners, I enjoyed that. I did like Frankenstein. I did. I thought it was good. Is it my favorite movie of the year? Nope. My favorite movie is Christie, starring Sydney Sweeney and Ben Foster. That movie should have gotten both of them Oscar nods for Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, or Best Actor. Oh my God, that movie's so good. And a lot of people didn't go see it because, Chrissy Martin's a lesbian. I don't give a shit. Great performances. My favorite movie. I know a lot of people say Weapons. I actually put this above all others because of Sydney Sweeney's performance as Chrissy Martin. I didn't see her. The cast is great. It's perfect on all levels. And when you see the crime that's committed against her by her then husband, you see the aftermath. You're like, how did she survive? Yeah. So that's why. I mean, she's a survivor on a level most people would just give up and die. She didn't. That's why I can look and go, yeah, that's someone to admire for the fact they survived their husband trying to kill him. Yeah. And Sydney Sweeney proved that she can act. I would have seen the Housemaid until Amanda Seyfried came out and ran her mouth after, the whole thing with Charlie Kirk. I said, no, because Paul Feig forgot he was even still around after oh my God, the guy won't shut up about 2016's fucking, oh God, Ghostbusters. Paul, get over yourself. The movie was shit. No, I haven't seen it. No one. It flopped so hard, it lost Sony money to the point they kicked you off the fucking lot. He still can't get over it. He still will not let that shit go. A lot of directors finally admit that the movie was crap. Oh, some directors can't. It's an ego thing. I know a lot of people are Nolan fans, and I saw the trailer for his movie Odyssey. I was like, nope. And then I looked up the cast, and I was like, oh God, no. Nope, I'm not interested. And I've already said my piece about the new Street Fighter movie. Fuck that piece of shit. It's because, for one, Cammy's British, and they got some lady from Thailand playing her. I'm like, she's a British Special Forces. British, white woman, blonde hair and blue eyes. You are not fucking British, lady. They may have given you a blonde wig or whatever, but dear God, you are not Cammy. She, as far as all the women in Street Fighter, she's my favorite female character. And Vega, a Spaniard, 400 years old. Yes, Vega's over 400 years old. They have a South African playing him. He came on stage wearing a fucking mask at the gamer. I said, that's not Vega. Yeah, they got a guy from the Netherlands playing Zegrief, who is Russian, by the way, 7'4" Russian wrestler. Yeah, they found a 7'2" guy from the Netherlands to play him, and we'll see if he can pull off a Russian accent. But yeah, I'm not interested. Roman Reigns is 6'3", and Akuma is Japanese and 6 foot. Cody Rhodes is he's not even good at fake wrestling. And I'm supposed to believe he's Guile. He's not a martial artist. He's never practiced martial arts. Now they got this Chinese. She is Chinese. She speaks Mandarin, or I think it's Cantonese, one of those. And she's playing Chun-Li. And I saw it and I said, okay, she looks like Chun-Li. They got a Japanese American to play Ryu. I was like, okay, they got a actual Indian to play. Is it Dalsum? I think that's it. But they get fucking Jason Momoa to play a Brazilian. I said this before, what the fuck? Jason Momoa sucks at acting. So he's going to play Blanca, a Brazilian. What? There's no Brazilians that could play the character? Oh, no. Let's get a fucking guy who can't actually act worth shit. Yeah, that works. I'm so tired of this shit. You know, I ain't gonna see the movie. I still love the original Street Fighter. As goofy as it is, it's funny as fuck. Yeah, they got a Japanese wrestler to play a Samoan, Japanese, I forget what they call them. The big fat guys in Japan. The Samoan. Is it Samoan? No. Sumo wrestler, yeah. And you look at the guy he's built. How is he going to play this fucking sumo wrestler? Yeah, E. Honda. I don't know. We'll see. I'm not interested in the movie. Yeah, well, I like Dust Bunny. Creative movie by Brian Fuller. Most people haven't seen it. They didn't see Together, which is a good fucked up horror movie. No, they went and go and see terrible movies like James Cameron. Now, I've said it, Nolan's best film will always be Prestige. It's his best, purest movie. Like, when he wasn't pretentious. I hated Oppenheimer. I hated Tenet. It was fucking, what the fuck is that movie about? And I hated The Dark Knight Rises. That movie's a piece of dog shit. And I like Bane. I do. Bane wears a luchador mask, and he's fucking left on a prison by his father, and he's almost 7 feet tall, and they had Tom Hardy. I have no problem with Tom Hardy. He's been good in stuff I've seen. He was great as Bronson in the movie Bronson. Go watch it. He's great in that movie. But dear God, he is not Bane. And wearing a gas mask? What the fuck? First of all, the venom that inject the venom into him doesn't make him massively. It just makes him stronger, like in the comic. And he's super intelligent. They made Tom Hardy short to play. Oh God, I hate him. And then, not the surprise, Ra's al Ghul's the daughters. Oh wow, that was not even a surprise when I saw who was. I said, oh yeah, Ra's al Ghul's daughter, not the League of Shadows, just not the League of Assassins. Oh, we're gonna call it the League of Shadows. Oh, okay. Yeah, shut the fuck up. We fake killed off Batman. Oh, he's still alive. God. You guys can't even follow through with killing a character off. Nolan. Now, my problem with The Dark Knight, was Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm supposed to believe these two good-looking guys, Christian Bale and Aaron Eckhart, are going to fight over a skeleton. I didn't believe. Why didn't you just have Katie Holmes return? I know a lot of people had a problem with her in the first movie. You didn't really flesh out her character. I don't think she's a terrible actress. I've seen her in stuff where she actually can act. Instead of fleshing her character out, making her, less pointless in the first movie, have her, keep her in the movie. Get rid of Maggie Gyllenhaal because God, she was not good looking in that movie. They made her look like a skeleton with skin on it. Ugh. What is with that? She was so unattractive. These two guys are fighting over her? Where's Katie Holmes? She's attractive. I'd rather had her in the movie back as Rachel instead of Maggie Gyllenhaal. Jesus Christ. Have her brother play Her brother's better looking than his sister. I was like, why didn't they just make it a gay movie and put him in it? I don't know. It's just Maggie Gyllenhaal threw me off. I'm like, they're fighting over her? No. No. Yeah. I did like Batman Begins. I thought, well, okay. But I knew right away that Liam Neeson was Ra's al Ghul, not Ken Watanabe. I thought, what the fuck are they trying to say? He doesn't switch bodies. And so I knew right away that Liam Neeson was actually Ra's al Ghul. I knew right away. I was not fooled by Ken Watanabe pretending to be Ra's al Ghul. I knew what was going on. But I thought it was a good movie. I thought, in Dark Knight, I thought Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker was solid. He's right below Jack Nicholson's my favorite Joker. Also behind Mark Hamill's voice in the Joker. Like I said, take the actor away from their politics, and you've got to remember Mark Hamill's a good actor. He's been in a lot of stuff. He's solid actor. His politics suck, but his acting's good. Yeah, and then you got to remember that Arlene Sorkin, Bruce Timm created Harley Quinn based on Arlene Sorkin. That's why she quit the Arkham games, because they sexualized her and she was pissed off. Yep. And she was the voice of Harley Quinn for the Batman animated series, just like Adrienne Barbeau was Selena Kyle / Catwoman. Yeah. And I thought about a Batman trilogy that would end the death of Batman, legitimately the death of Batman. I was looking at how to put a cast, I was looking at people to play the characters somewhat based on the animated series, and I said, who could play Bruce Wayne / Batman? I was like, yeah, instead of him playing Superman, which I thought was always a poor choice, I thought Henry Cavill should be, because I saw him in Fallout. I said, yeah, he could do the stunt work. He can do the action as Batman. He's got the intelligence. He built his own PC, idiots. He'd be perfect as Batman, Bruce Wayne Batman. And bring in, I thought, okay, from the Gotham TV series, I like certain things about that show. I bring in Sean Pertwee to play Alfred. Yeah. And then I said, okay. I said, is his name Magliona or something? He was from True Blood as the werewolf, and then he also played Deathstroke in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I thought that was the really good choice to play him. I'd have him play Deathstroke. And I thought, okay, I'm looking through, and I figured, I was looking for an actor to play the Joker. Yeah, I was like Selena Kyle working at Arkham Asylum. I said Dean Norris would be Hugo Strange. Yeah. And I said, who would play Dick Grayson, who's in Arkham Asylum? And then I said, I was looking like who'd play Deadshot, and I go, I thought of one actor. I already said, yeah, he'd be perfect to play him again. I didn't want to give it away, but I'd say, okay, who would play Scarecrow? And I said, Cillian Murphy bring him back, but make him look more like the character, like a really scary version of him. Like, this would be a R-rated, people dying. I said, who would play? J.K. Simmons would be Commissioner Gordon. Perfect. Yeah, I was thinking through this. I said, yeah, you're going to have a trilogy where it ends with Batman getting killed by, yes, I'm not joking, literally dying. And, yeah, and I said, how this ends is, basically, I was like, yeah, you're going to have a violent movie where you're going to see Alfred get his head blown off. You're going to see Commissioner Gordon see his daughter die in front of him after getting shot by Deadshot. And basically, he gets a call, and he's getting told, who do you think's to blame for this? While the police are dealing with Clayface, because no one's going to come, this is all Batman's fault. And he doesn't know that Batman's Bruce Wayne. But, of course, Bane already figured it out. Yeah, Bane figured it out. Deathstroke knows. Yep, and Scarecrow knows. Yes. And, of course, Hugo Strange knows that when he hears when the Joker laughs, who's in Arkham Asylum, Bruce Wayne's hand curls in, and that's when Hugo Strange realizes, he's Batman. Yeah. Because you know, yeah, because of Jason Todd's death. The death of Jason Todd, yep, Joker's in Arkham Asylum because of that, yep, and Harley Quinn works there. This is before he broke out of Arkham, yeah. This is like way, way into Bruce Wayne as Batman, yeah. I said, yeah, it's going to be gory, it's going to be bloody, but they will never do this because it would be like off the hook watching people you know getting killed off, watching Gordon get murdered by Deathstroke. Holy shit, that would be fucking... Watch it, yeah. And basically, you know, everyone finds out that Bruce Wayne's Batman, and they're like, Gordon wants to kill him, that's why Gordon gets by Deathstroke, and then basically Batman's lost an arm in the fight, and Deathstroke convinces him, you're the hero, I'm the villain, I'm meant to kill you. Yeah. And so he kills him, and everybody remembers, you know, they have a memorial for Bruce Wayne where everybody like mourns the death of Batman and Bruce Wayne and everything, and remembers the Arkham Asylum. All the villains are in there remembering, just like from the animated series, their time when they almost defeated Batman, realized without him they are nothing. Yeah, and that's would be how you end it. And no, he doesn't survive. Alfred's dead. Gordon's daughter dies. Yeah, and you know, Scarecrow dies. A lot of people get killed, but that would be how you would kill off Batman, not fake it like Nolan did in The Dark Knight. Fuck that shit. But see, nobody would would think of doing that because that would mean you would actually have to be creative in a trilogy that ends with in a most violent fight between Deathstroke and Batman. Yep. But that takes creativity, and that's bringing in characters and stuff that, you know, and actors to fit those characters. Like I was looking through, if I were to do it, who would play Montoya? I thought Thomas Jane is Harvey Bullock. Yeah, stuff like that. I was thinking, okay, and going through and trying to figure, you know, have a Greek play Diane Prince. Yep. And you have Jon Stewart as Green Lantern. Yep. The Justice League's there. Yep. And I thought, oh, I know who. You bring Brendan Routh back as Superman. Yep. I liked him. I think he'd be perfect. But I thought, yeah, Henry Cavill as Batman makes a whole lot more sense than him playing Superman. He just got the look to play Batman. He's smart. Yeah. That's just me putting that out there, but it'll never happen. Warner Brothers, no matter what, would never do a violent trilogy that ends with people being killed off. Alfred getting his head literally like that, getting the shit beat him by Deathstroke. While Batman takes on Bane in the Batcave. Yeah. Oh my God, so violent, so gory. Ugh. Yeah, people getting killed in the thing. Yeah, that's never going to happen. You would never get an R-rated movie like that. We were lucky that Tim Burton had his 2 Batman films, because anything like that dark would never. See, that's why why I like Tim Burton, why I like certain directors. When they think, you know, creatively like George Lucas, I go, yeah, creativity, something Hollywood doesn't have anymore, because they forgot to be creative. So yeah, everything's, you know, Christmas is tomorrow. I don't have no Christmas tree up. I mean, it's not because I don't have any family that lives around me. They all are in different parts of the state. Except my sister, she's in Washington as far as I know. I don't know where she lives anymore. She doesn't talk to me, that's fine. Oh, that's a whole different story, but yeah. I just, you know, sit here, just, you know, thinking about stuff. Yeah, like I thought about I wanted to make a Nicolas Cage slasher film. And Long Lease came out, and I said, damn you, Oz Perkins, you fucking did it first. Yeah, I thought about, well, here's the idea. It's called Jingle Bells. Oh, fuck it. Jingle Bells is not a racist song. Fuck off, dumb people. Oh, my God. Yeah, Nicolas Cage literally plays himself, but here's the thing. He gets scarred on a set of a movie, then he goes and creates a giant bell that he's going to kill people with, and wears a sleigh, and he laughs hysterically. His face is disfigured. He just goes around murdering people. Yeah, as he laughs at them, hysteria. Yeah, I thought Nicolas Cage killing, you know, reality TV stars, kills off, yeah, a lot of fucking people. Yeah. Yeah. I thought, he's using a bell to kill people. That's unique. Has that been done before? I don't know. But Nicolas Cage is a serial killer who he was in Long Legs, but I mean, as a playing himself, going crazy in a movie where he just beats the shit out of people with a giant bell, yeah, called Jingle Bells, that would be funny to watch. He's been in everything. He's one of the greatest actors who can go from subtle to fucking crazy in a like that. Nobody else in Hollywood really could. I can't picture really very many actors in Hollywood who can go subtle to crazy like that. Snap of a finger. Nicolas Cage is the greatest living actor. I'll always say that, and I'll defend that, because as good as Clint Eastwood is, he couldn't do what Nicolas Cage. No one really in Hollywood can pull that crazy level of crazy out, like in Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance. I mean, that's a far better movie than the first one, because the guys who made it were stuntmen. And I love the sequel. I thought it was better than the first one. But Nicolas Cage has that ability to go subtle to crazy in a fucking heartbeat. Kind of like, I'll say William Dafoe reminds me of that too. He goes from, I actually kind of think of him like Nicolas Cage. He can be subtle, or he can give you psychotic in a performance. Look at him as the Green Goblin. I hated the costume, but his performance as Norman Osborn in the Green Goblin was fucking dead on to the character from the comic. And then you see him in Nosferatu, and his performance changes as the movie goes on. By the end, he's fucking having hysterical laughter as he's burning the Count's home to the ground and everything. And I thought that yeah. And of course, when you think of like actors like Lon Chaney Sr. and Jr., who also does this that's Bill Skarsgård. Guy can play himself in a movie. He has a true story coming out that Gus Van Sant, I forgot, was still alive. Haven't seen him do a movie. Yeah, I read up on the story that this movie's based on, that Bill Skarsgård's in, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a true story. And it was interesting because I had never heard of the story. But yet he can go and play Count Olaf. Dear God, he's amazing. And then play Pennywise and play him so differently that you're just like, oh yeah, he can play subtle and crazy. I saw him in Villains, which is a really good movie, and has Monica Moreau in it from Long Legs. And yeah, and you got, I forget it, Jeffrey Dean or something like that. He was on Burn Notice. And you have Kevin Bacon's wife, who I would never have pictured playing a psychopath in a movie. Kira Sedgwick, yeah, Kevin Bacon's wife. They're still married. Oh my God. Yeah, go watch that movie. And so yeah, like I said, things were all messed up. They're going to plan they're going to start war with Venezuela. That's why they think they're pressuring Maduro. He's not going to step down. They're going to have to go in. If they want the oil, they're going to have to invade Venezuela, which will go bad for the U.S. like all the other times they've invaded countries. So yeah, they were trying to distract you with the Epstein stuff and everything over here, because Trump says we deserve to steal that. No, literally saying Marco Rubio, they want to put out that message. We're going to overthrow Venezuela. We're going to steal the oil. It's like, okay, I do not support this. I know a lot of Trump supporters say they don't, but they also have to pay attention. If they're telling you stuff without any proof, question everything. Stop being so like the whole thing with Venezuelans, or like this Obrega Garcia. Look into it, find out the truth. Don't just believe with no proof that, they're saying this must be true. Just remember, they claim 2 other guys killed Charlie Kirk first, just like, every other time. Like the whole thing with Brown University. Don't always believe what your government says. Question everything. Trump's right about illegal unemployment. Why are they not getting rid of the Somalis? Why are they still here when it keeps getting worse and worse? Why are they not deporting these people? Why is EMR, and I encourage you to ask this question, why is she still here? Why are they still here? Trump says, then deport them. Why are you not doing it? I have no clue. It's like they want to say they want to do something, but then suddenly they don't do it. It makes you go, it's kind of frustrating when Trump brings up about what the Somalis, and you have a Somali actually exposing the fraud. Yes, just like that Muslim from Syria stopped the shooter, the father, who was a terrorist in Australia. And, and of course Venezuela doesn't have fentanyl because that comes through Afghanistan, through China, to Mexico, into the U.S. And who runs all that? The CIA. CIA does all the cartels, all the gangs of the Americas are all run by, including Israeli intelligence, MI6. Yeah, they're all run by fucking the CIA. Duh. Yeah. And right now, they don't want you to notice what they're planning to do in Colombia and Venezuela. They're trying to start war between Venezuela and Colombia, and they're not. Tensions are high, but people there don't want war. They've got a president who isn't really in America's back pocket, so they want to get rid of him, put a dictator back in that they can control, like Pinochet. So yeah, and of course, farmers in Europe in Brussels and everything are pissed off at what they're doing. They're basically, they had rules to protect themselves from fucking, like our food and everything, which is not good for us. But of course, apparently EU is violating their own food safety rules to bring in our food, which is full of chemicals that you don't want, because they don't want it. They want to get rid of their farmers, so they're backstabbing their people for. We are actually backstabbing our own farmers for Argentina farmers. Yeah, where their meat's actually much better than ours. But yeah, so, yeah, what a day. Christmas Eve, and people are making videos. They got ads playing a video game. I mean, I said it, I don't like Lord of the Rings. I've gone through it before why I don't like it. Because Peter Jackson butchered the books to tell the story, and he lied to the casting team over who was going to play Gandalf. Gandalf was written to be Christopher Lee. He was friends with Tolkien. And where did Tolkien get his idea for Lord of the Rings? Where did C.S. Lewis get for his Lion, those books? From Brom, the man who wrote the Wizard of Oz books. That's why I hate Wicked. It shits all over Brom's work. Brom inspired authors. Yeah. This is where Tolkien wrote Lord of the Rings, wrote all of his books. When he read the Brom stuff, he was like impressed at what a great writer he was. Yes, and same with C.S. Lewis. They took a lot of the way Brom wrote his books. They were impressed the way that he detailed everything. He's one of those, like Tolkien, like Lewis, that had this ability to tell you everything, describe every detail in his books. He didn't leave anything. When he described the Wicked Witch, he said she wears an eye patch. She doesn't have green skin. That was completely done for the movie. But she had her hair braided and wore an eye patch. That's simply put, the way that he described the Wicked Witch of the West. For the movie, they wanted her to stand out. So what they did was they came with the idea of her having green skin. Well, unfortunately, the problem with that was the actress who played the Wicked Witch, after the movie was done, she had trouble getting the green paint off of her. Even after they washed it off, it took a while for it to finally, her skin to go back normal. It had literally seeped into her skin, and so she was green for a while after doing the movie. And it was really hard when you can't get the paint, it takes a while for the rest of because it seeped in her skin, to leave her skin. She had to basically live kind of green for a long time. That's actually kind of funny about the whole movie. But yeah, I love Wizard of Oz. I've read the books. I love the way that Brom told the story. What I hate is the idiot who made Wicked. He's trying to rewrite the story to make the Wicked Witch seem like, oh, it's not her fault. No, he made it very clear that the Wicked Witch is evil. Her and her sister are two of the most evil characters in the fucking books. They're the two most wicked sisters, witches. And yeah, Glinda was not a witch. She had no real powers. All of her stuff was fake, created by the wizard, who was a con man, by the way, before he came to Oz. And yeah, and that it was the Wicked Witch of the East and they weren't ruby slippers, they were silver, who turned all the people into animals. Yes, the lion in the book literally looks like a lion that talks like a human. Yeah, so I know that for the movie Wicked, they did have the lion look like a lion, but that's in the book. And yeah, so Brom made it very clear who the two sisters and the Wicked Witch of the West hated her sister for having those silver slippers. She wanted them. So that's why when her sister got killed, she was pissed that Dorothy had them and she didn't. But yeah, and also she had an aversion to water, because in the book, Brom made it very clear, this woman literally experimented on herself to the point that she was afraid of water. she had probably taken all of her blood out to make herself live long and everything. And so, yeah, and Dorothy didn't seek to kill the, just like in the movie, she was just trying to put the scarecrow out and ended up and apologized. And they said, they were like, she was sorry that she caused the death of the Wicked Witch. She was horrified that she ended up killing her, and they were like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. But yeah, Glenda was not as good of was not the good person. She manipulated Dorothy into going, doing she used her. That's in the book. So Glenda's not the good, clean person they try to make her out to be. She's kind of deceitful. Yeah, she has no magic, but she tricks Dorothy into thinking, and in the movie, they make her, but there are tricks that she used to make it look like she could actually had magic, which she really didn't. But yeah, and Brown made this stuff very clear in his book, and this is what inspired Tolkien and C.S. Lewis and others to, write their books. And so and I just won't see Wicked because I think it shits on what Braun did. And this is why my problem with Peter Jackson's movie isn't just that he lied and Christopher Lee getting screwed over after they clearly wanted him to play. It's the fact that by the end of the story in the book, I have them over there on the bookcase right here, is that Sauron dies in the Shire, not in the White Tower. He tricked the Ents to let him leave, and he took Green with him, and they ended up basically invading the Shire. And in the end, this is ultimately why Frodo leaves, because when he sees that the hobbits are not weak and they can fight, it turns out these little fucking halflings can actually fight, and they save the Shire. Frodo realizes after finishing his story, telling his story, and he did lose an entire finger, by the way. He goes and that's why he leaves. Because the ring had done its damage to him. It really changed him. And he couldn't really fight when he got back. He was too weak. The others did all the fighting. And Sam realized he finished his story. He gave the home to Sam and his wife, and he left. It wasn't as tearful. It actually made more sense in the book than in the movie, why he leaves. Because, you see the damage to the ring. The ring really did. It's like Bilbo Baggins. It damages the. Why do you think Gollum looked the way he did? The ring does that damage because it was evil, and it had Sauron's power in it, and he wasn't gone. He was still there. It's just he was weak. But they leave a lot. What made the book, why I love the books over the movies, all the ideas Tolkien put in there, like Tom Bombadil. I like the character. I love reading about him in the book. He's fascinating. But cutting him out of the movie makes the movie doesn't work. And kicking out the fifth Hobbit, where they're all sitting around, we're talking Merry, Pippin, for those four, and their friend Fatty. I call him Fatty because he was fat. They nicknamed him Fatty. He stayed and watched back in so nobody would steal anything like what happened to Bilbo. They leave him out. They had a conversation. Frodo didn't try to slip away. They all agreed to leave together. And the whole thing is that Aragorn never denied he was Aragorn. The only time he called himself, it was ever said that he was Strider, was with the hobbits, because he didn't know them. He had never seen hobbits. And he didn't go like this. Arwen never had an argument with her father. And the guy who brings Frodo to Rivendell, is the guy who gets killed in Helm's Deep in front of, I think it was Aragorn. Because, but they cut that and had Arwen do it, and I go, that doesn't make sense. I get you want to Liv Tyler have more, then don't put her as a character that's barely in the book. And no, they didn't argue over her marrying Aragorn. She was always meant to. And women and children in Ellery didn't go to Helm's Deep. They stayed in Rohan because it wasn't safe for them to travel. So putting them in this dangerous situation was utterly stupid. Didn't make any sense. You don't need to change things, Peter Jackson, to tell a good story. You could have done 6 movies. You could, instead of trying to do each book as one movie, which you did a disastrous job of, you should have done maybe 2 movies for each book. And you had 6 movies. Because those books, unlike The Hobbit, they're full of so much information that what you did was literally butcher the books to fit your story, and that's why I can't stand it. I can't stand the changes you made to fit your narrative, your movie, which butchers the books. This is why I have a problem with the Lord of the Rings. Look at his Hobbit. He takes Smaug, who's described as a dragon with 2 arms, 2 legs, bat-like wings, and a snake head. Yeah, not the neck, just the head, and turned him into I forget what they call it, the dragon with the arms turning the wings. Yeah, that wasn't. He didn't have a long conversation. He had one conversation with Bilbo Baggins, and Bilbo took a goblet or something, and basically and the Smaug's killed in a simple arrow to the missing, and it was the thrush that told him, saw the missing what they call the chink in the armor, and then he shot a regular arrow, killing Smaug the dragon. That's it. They didn't need to add in, this whole thing inside, all that stuff. Didn't need to be there. It was a waste. Had no purpose in The Hobbit. That's the problem with Peter Jackson. Instead of just telling the story the way it was, like in the animated Hobbit movie, which is pretty accurate to the book, and if you look at Gandalf, he looks like Christopher Lee. Peter Jackson first butchers the books, changes things around, has Frodo and Sam have, Frodo kicking Sam away, which never happened in the book. No one trusted Gollum. And Gollum slips as he's dancing with the ring and falls. He does get, and Frodo doesn't lose just the tip. He lost the entire finger, which I think might have been this finger. I can't remember which one. It's either this finger or this one. But he lost the entire finger because Gollum bit it off. But then he's dancing and basically slips and falls in the volcano. He's the hero of the story. Not because he was, that was his intent. He was so obsessed with getting the ring back, he lost his foot and slipped, fell in the volcano. Not destroying Sauron, he diminished him. So Sauron was still there, but all of his power was gone. So he wasn't destroyed, he was pointless. And Shelob in the book is much bigger. Holy shit, she's huge. Her back end has literally tunnels run to it. Go read the book. The description of Shelob is she's from the god of all evil. Yeah, Morgoth, I think was his name. Yeah, and Sauron didn't start out evil. He saw evil, he liked it, and then he became evil. Yeah, and but yeah, Shelob was came off of the god of all evil. And was she a shapeshifter in the book? I can't remember. I do remember her size was enormous, much bigger than the movie. I mean, I was like, dear God, that's not the size she is. And she's much more terrifying in the book than she is in the movie. I think in the book she can actually talk and everything. And they made her much more terrifying in the book than in the movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's not terrifying. Because, she's meant to be a monster, a true monster. That's my problem with Peter Jackson. I like his early works. Meet the Feebles, Dead Alive. His early stuff that he did in Australia was great, but The Lord of the Rings, I never liked the movie. The production value, good, but the story was really butchered to fit his narrative, and I don't know how anybody can overlook the Battle of the Shire being eliminated from the story. And, so that's my biggest problem. People go, oh my God. Yeah, I don't like the books. Movies. I'll show you. Here. Look. Right here. This is how much I love Lord of the Rings. This right here. This book is from, I ordered this off of Amazon. It's from England. This thing was over $100 to get this. This artwork on the box, these covers, all done commissioned by Alan Lee, a man Tolkien hired personally to do the artwork. This is, these, you had to pay over $100, at the time I paid over $100, including shipping and handling, to get these from the UK, shipped over here. So yes, I've read this. I've listened to the books on tape, and I love the author, the guy who does reads the books, because it's funny listening to him do women's voices. It's funny as hell. He's like British, so yeah. And I have the Silmarillion over there, and so I do know. I don't have all of his books, but I do have these, the 4 right here. Look how much smaller. This is The Hobbit. That right there is the smallest book. You have Each one of these are huge. Look at them. This is just the Lord of the Rings. Why does this only have one movie for each one? These books are thicker than this one. And you get 3 shitty movies on this book. On the Hobbit. But one movie for each of these. The detail and stuff in the Lord of the Rings, each book is so immense. You can't do a proper one movie for this. Yeah. So that's when I say I hate the movies for what he did. 2 of them. To make his Lord of the Rings movies. For a guy for anybody claiming they're a fan to say, oh yeah, I like the butcher he did. I don't. See, I've read these books. And I thought that Billy Boyd, who is of the 4 actors, the oldest of the 4, he actually looks more like Frodo Baggins from the book than Elijah Wood. Plus, yeah. So, and he should have been Frodo Baggins. It would have made more sense. Elijah Wood could have been the youngest Hobbit. Would have made more sense. But I like Billy Boyd. I like Elijah Wood, but I thought Billy Boyd would have made a better Frodo than Elijah Wood. For one, you have Ian Holm playing, and you have 2 British men playing Bilbo Baggins in The Hobbit and in The Lord of the Rings. And you're going to hire an American to be his nephew. That I didn't really think. Yeah, Billy Boyd, if you look at him, you could kind of see, yeah. He kind of looked like he would have been perfect to play Frodo Baggins, the nephew of Bilbo. Yeah. So that's why I don't like, the detail in this. Peter Jackson. I'm not talking about Wicca. They did a great job. I'm talking about the story he tells. He butchered the books to fit his story, which I never liked the way he told the story. Helm's Deep did not have the women and children, elderly. That would have been stupid. But he tells he changed things to fit a narrative. Like he wanted to make it look like there was a love triangle between Aragorn and Arwen and I forget her character name in the movie. Yeah, they were trying to it seemed like he was trying to put a fake love story like he did in The Hobbit between Legolas, who wasn't in The Hobbit, and this other elf that came out of nowhere. Yeah, and her and one of the dwarves and everything. It was stupid. You don't have to put in fake stuff to tell a good story. Just follow the book. Yeah, that's why I hate The Lord of the Rings. Even the special editions, I hated it. Because of the way he changed things to fit his narrative, which didn't follow the book. So, yeah. So that's why I don't like the Lord of the Ring movies. See, like I said, I spent over $100 fucking on these 4 books. This artwork, you see it? All by Alan Lee. Go read up on this guy. He was commissioned by Tolkien. Yeah, look at that. This is just the box that these books come in. All done by Alan Lee. It was expensive. You can look this up on Amazon and order it. I think you have to get it through UK because these are not available in America. So, yeah. Now, I wanted to point that out for a lot of people who say, yeah. And I'll say this. The first 2 Predator movies, here's another thing. The first 2 Predator movies are slasher films. Just like Alien was a slasher film. Yeah. Because, you have a creature hunting, stalking, and murdering. Just like in Alien. Now, Alien 3, David Fincher tried to go back to what made Alien. The one creature coming out walking like its host. Yeah. And it looked like what he was trying to do by getting rid of that girl and Hicks was trying to go back to what made Alien work. The isolated location, an unstoppable monster, the parasite. I don't know if he even had the idea of the Queen in there. I think that was the studio, but they interfered and he quit the movie. Yeah, he quit. Yeah, David Fincher quit doing Alien 3, and if you look at what he did, he literally went back to what made Alien work. Why the first movie was so great, the second was a generic shooter. Call him Xenomorph was stupid, but having an isolated, like in the Nostro, the ship in the first movie, having it be isolated where this thing's stalking and killing, that's what he did with Alien 3. That's why he called it Alien 3. He wasn't trying to follow aliens. That's why I kill off those 2 characters and And essentially, there's one of the things inside of her, but I don't know if it was meant to be the queen thing, or if they're just having another one of these things. Don't know, because we didn't get. Dave Fincher won't talk about the movie. He hates the idea that he did this movie because of 20th Century Fox interfered. Yeah, and so. And I've said before, I love The Prestige. I don't care for most of Nolan's stuff. I'm not a purist Nolan guy. Batman Begins fine. Dark Knight's fine, except for Maggie Gyllenhaal being the love interest didn't work for me. Kind of took me out of the movie. Should have kept Katie Holmes. She's better looking than Maggie Gyllenhaal. Maggie looked like a skeleton with skin on it. Ugh. Yeah. So, like I said, if you're paying attention, the government keeps saying that, Maduro's, it's an illegitimate government. They're going to invade Venezuela to steal the oil. That's coming, people. That's why they're distracted with the Epstein shit and all this other stuff. And, So, there you go. I thought I would just, it's 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's, I figure I've talked enough for today. You can follow me here. I'm back on YouTube under Gilgamesh. I'm on Rumble under Panzer Dragon. Odyssey under Gilgamesh. BitChute under Gilgamesh 1. I have a locals channel. I haven't really put on there much. I'm not on Twitter. I'm permanently suspended from there for what I said about when the terrorist attack, when they did pager terrorist attack in Lebanon killing children. I condemn that. And I said some things that basically I was like, I don't support any violence. Children getting killed, fuck that shit. So, I just want to point that out. So, this is Gilgamesh. I will talk to you later. Have a good day. Bye.